Good afternoon and welcome to the 4 to 5 on this Wednesday edition.
Hump
I'm Chad
day.
Silver. That's right. This is Claire Fry. That is Sydney Moore. We're happy that you're here with us today.
How are y'all feeling today? The weather was pretty good, right?
Not bad at all. I mean, upper 70s, lots
Yeah.
of sunshine, can't complain.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And honestly, I'll take that over the 90s any day. And I mean, slim rain chances, right?
Nice.
I know.
That's how we get along.
I hear you've got some news about the weather this weekend.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do. I do have some unfortunate news, but I can't give everything away now, of course.
We
Yes.
just want to be happy. You're just taking our shine away,
sorry.
literally.
Just being a realist
You
here,
act like
right?
I can just do a little move and I can make
Right.
it sunny, right? I'm working on it. Maybe I'll get there.
Well, she will give us an update in just a couple of minutes, but one of the big stories we are following this afternoon, more proof that some people are concerned about the threat of car thefts. It took just 25 minutes for Winston-Salem Police to give out 100 free steering wheel locks this morning.
They only gave them out to Kia and Hyundai owners because police say those cars are stolen more often. WFMY News 2's Giselle Thomas talked to police about why there's such a demand for these locks.
Winston-Salem police say it was a TikTok online video that made them aware of a new trend showing people how to steal Kias and Hyundais.
A national TikTok trend that went viral with regards to thefts of Kias and Hyundais. That had to do and stemmed from a problem with the computer electronic ignition portion, and so thieves had figured out how to bypass that, take advantage of that, that software glitch.
Police have seen more Kias and Hyundais stolen locally, and with Hyundai's help, they were able to get locks to some drivers free of charge. Winston-Salem police say people lined up for hours before the start of the giveaway. 120 locks were passed out to drivers Wednesday morning.
But there's no one magic answer. Nothing is 100% proof. But with the steering wheel locks, if someone is looking to actually steal your vehicle, if they come along and they see the steering wheel lock properly installed on the steering wheel, more than likely they're going to go on to the next one.
Amanda Rutledge has a 2014 Kia Soul. She wasn't at the giveaway because she has her own steering wheel lock. She was happy to see the lock giveaway happening, and here's why.
It makes me feel, more comfortable and secure knowing that there's a lock on my vehicle and on the steering wheel, so that if anyone did attempt to steal my car, they would have much more difficulty.
Because of today's giveaway success, the department says it's already planning another one, and they'll have twice the amount of locks to give out. But there's no date yet, and they say it'll be next month. Now again, the locks are free, but you have to show proof that you are a Kia or Hyundai to get one owner.
Giselle, thank you. You may have seen online or heard from a friend that the rise in Kia and Hyundai thefts have insurance companies dropping coverage for some of those cars. Our Verify team looked into the claim.
Buying a car can be stressful, and according to a viral social media post, so could buying car insurance. This tweet, with more than 900,000 views, claims a rise in car thefts of Kias and Hyundais is causing major insurance companies to stop issuing new policies. But is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are the Highway Loss Data Institute, the City of Seattle, and insurance companies State Farm and Progressive. Thefts of Kias and Hyundais are on the rise. Among 2015 to 2019 model year vehicles, theft claims were nearly twice as common for Hyundai and Kia vehicles than all other manufacturers, according to the Highway Loss Data Institute. In Seattle, thefts were up more than 360% for Kias and more than 500% for Hyundais from 2021 to 2022. In Wisconsin, the amount insurers paid out for stolen Kias and Hyundais was 30 times higher in 2021 than in 2019. So, what's going on here? The Institute says it's because many Kias and Hyundais lack electronic immobilizers, a feature standard on most vehicles that prevents thieves from bypassing the ignition. That's led insurance companies like Progressive and State Farm to stop issuing new policies for Hyundai and Kia vehicles in some areas. A spokesperson for Progressive told Verify, quote, "During the past year, we've seen theft rates for certain Hyundai and Kia vehicles more than triple. And in some markets, these vehicles are almost 20 times more likely to be stolen than other vehicles." So we can verify, yes, some car insurance companies have stopped issuing new policies for certain Hyundai and Kia vehicles in some areas. Both Progressive and State Farm say they are not canceling any existing policies. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
If you ever see something online that you think sounds unbelievable, our Verify team can fact check it. All you have to do is send an email to verify@wfmy.com.
Republican state lawmakers say they've reached a deal on a new budget. It comes 80 days after the unofficial budget deadline. House Speaker Tim Moore and Senate Leader Phil Berger commented on the decision afterward.
the absolutely record investment in rural infrastructure, water, sewer, education, doing so much to get resources to parts of our state that are having a hard time right now. Tax relief to working families, more money for education, pay raises for our hardworking state employees and teachers, really ensuring that we have probably one of the greatest budgets that I've ever seen.
It was just time for us to get the other things taken care of. Like the Speaker said, this budget has thousands of great things for the people of North Carolina.
Democratic lawmakers are also reacting. On social media, Senate Minority Leader Dan Blue wrote, "This is an encouraging development in the North Carolina General Assembly budget negotiations. Let's get to work on the people's agenda."
What's not included in the budget is an expansion of legal gambling in our state. There is talk among Republican lawmakers about putting casinos and gambling in a separate bill and pairing it with Medicaid expansion. But Republican leaders say they've abandoned those efforts for now. If they had gone forward with that casino Medicaid bill, it would have made the bill's passage necessary for Medicaid expansion to move forward. Medicaid expansion has already been delayed for months with the budget delay, but Republican leaders now confirm Medicaid expansion will come with the passage of the budget.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, Greensboro police say they're trying to figure out what led to a murder-suicide last night. Officers responded to Hargett Street off Market Street in East Greensboro, where they say they found 2 people who'd been shot. Legina Ingram and Tanina Ingram both died. At this point, their relationship isn't clear. We're learning more details about a recent hit and run in Archdale. Police say a man stole a car and intentionally hit a woman while she was jogging. They say it happened early Monday morning on Daniel Paul Drive. So far, no one's been arrested. Local law enforcement agencies are teaming up with scientists to host events celebrating National Forensic Science Week. Today, scientists talked about lab work that helps solve cases, which includes sexual assault evidence collection kits. Many victims have shared frustration in the past about a backlog of untested kits. State leaders say they're working to get through the kits. The Task Force for Safer Schools met today to talk about school safety, including guns and gang involvement. They also talked about ways to increase funding for security in schools. A rep from UNC also talked about the importance of mental health resources for students following the 2 recent incidents on campus.
High pressure lingering over the Carolinas, allowing for lots and lots of sunshine today. Here's a nice view over Winston-Salem here just after 4 o'clock. A couple of clouds out there, but for the most part, we're remaining nice and dry. A look at the satellite and radar. Again, some clouds, but for the most part, into these next few days, going to be dry ahead of that coastal low moving up the coast of the Carolinas later into this weekend, bringing in those shower and thunderstorm chances as well as some wind gusts. More on that in just a moment, but currently sitting in the upper 70s and lower 80s across the Triad. 78 in Greensboro. Next few hours, we're going to begin to fall down to the more comfortable 60s and eventually into the upper 50s. But rain chances are on the way up as that coastal low moves up right along the coast of the United States. More so into Friday night and into Saturday. Sunday is going to be the drier day of the 2. So heading into this weekend, here are some of those main points that you are going to want to know. So Saturday, going to be a little bit cooler, also wet and windy with breezy conditions anywhere between 20 to 30 miles per hour. But into Sunday, rain begins to leave the area as that system progresses northward. Going to be the better day for your outdoor plans as temperatures slowly begin to rise into the more comfortable middle 70s. I've got the latest look at this coastal low and what models are projecting for it. That's coming up in your main forecast in just a couple of minutes.
Claire, thank you. Longtime Wheel of Fortune co-host Vanna White will keep flipping letters through 2026. Her contract was expiring at the end of the current 41st season. White has been on Wheel of Fortune since 1982. Her decision to stick around comes months after her co-host Pat Sajak announced his plans to retire after this current season wraps up. Sajak has presided over the game show since 1981. Sony Pictures Television announced that Ryan Seacrest will take over Sajak's role. They announced earlier this year that he signed a multi-year deal to host the game show starting next season. We'll be right back.
As you know, minivans have been popular family vehicles for generations, but new research shows they might come up short at protecting passengers in the back seat.
We take a look at how they were tested and what parents should be looking out for when shopping for a car.
In a new round of crash tests, 4 types of minivans were smashed into a barrier at 40 miles per hour. The vehicles did a good job protecting the driver, but all received a low grade when it came to backseat safety.
The results are disappointing because customers buy minivans to transport their families.
Jessica Jermakian is Vice President of Vehicle Research at the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. The group found the seatbelts in the back either put too much pressure on the chest or slid up, increasing the risk of abdominal injuries. According to the IIHS, the risk of fatal injury is 46% higher for people in the back of the vehicle. SUVs and mid-sized cars also failed to achieve a good grade in earlier research. It's important to stress vehicles are not less safe than before. The test is new and exposing the issue for the first time.
We expect the automakers to put in better belt technology.
Jermakian wants back belts to have the same pretensioners and load limiters you find in the front seat.
So a pretensioner tightens the belt on the occupant, coupling them to the vehicle and helping them ride down the crash, and the load limiter reduces the forces on the chest.
The IIHS emphasizes those improvements can make these vehicles even safer.
I'm glad that they're shedding light on this,
Right.
which is really unfortunate. I'm thinking about, with minivans, they're used obviously a lot, especially when you have kids as well too, but I'm thinking about all the different transportation it's used for when you talk about soccer and helping with transportation with other kids. So I'm glad that they are shedding light on this.
Especially considering, if you have a family, the kids are sometimes more important than the parent themselves. They think about their kids' safety more often, and so to have where the kids sit, have that issue, definitely concerning. But yeah, it's good. It's a great idea that they did this study, and hopefully there will be some changes that will make it better.
And it's interesting how different cars can have different results and different things that, make it in terms of just safety-wise in general. But hopefully, people who have minivans can look at this and get their car looked at.
All right, we'll be right back.
We've had a good strand of beautiful days across the Triad, and that's all thanks to the main driver being high pressure over the area. That's allowing for lots and lots of sunshine, although our next best set of rain chances is right on the horizon. We're watching a coastal low that is going to form just off of the coast of Florida as we head into Thursday and into Friday. Could even acquire some subtropical characteristics, so keeping an eye on this as it continues to push northward, bringing some moisture well along our coastline. A couple of those outer bands could make it into our area. Scattered showers and storms are going to be possible later into Friday afternoon and evening, and especially into Saturday. So in terms of what you need to know, windy conditions anywhere between 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts with these scattered showers and storms. As of now, though, models do have a little bit of discrepancy showing. One actually showing it a little bit more inland, meaning more rain is possible. The other being just a little bit more on the dry side. So be flexible with those plans as we make it toward the weekend. Here's one of those models showing that rainfall slowly making its way into the area, particularly as we head into Friday. But ahead of that, mostly cloudy conditions are on the way for Thursday, with an isolated shower or two overnight before we start to see that moisture begin making its way right along the coastline early into Friday, spreading across portions of central North Carolina, primarily as we head into the afternoon and evening of your Friday. Now, in terms of wind gusts for our area, anywhere between 20 to 30 mile per hour, starting to see those into Friday evening, and especially along the coastline, could even surpass 40 miles per hour into Friday night and early into Saturday, slowly beginning to die down Saturday evening, and also as we head into your Sunday. Full 7-day forecast, though, also features the start of fall. Going to be on a little bit of a cool note. Scattered showers and storms are going to be possible ahead of rain leaving the area on Sunday. Mainly dry conditions as we head into next week as temperatures make their way back into the nice middle and upper 70s.
The United Auto Workers Union is threatening to expand its strike against the big three automakers if it doesn't see serious progress in negotiations by noon on Friday. Auto workers say they are fighting for fair pay for all employees and for an end to practices like mandatory overtime.
I've been topped out for 2 years at $19.53, and my full-time coworkers, they're at like $31.77. It's actually life-changing money.
Bottom line is that negotiations continue, but it does not appear that the union and automakers are much closer to a deal than where we were on Friday when the strike began. Meantime, writers and actors are still on strike. The Writers Guild of America and Hollywood's major studios resume negotiations today to try and end the strike that's disrupted production for more than 4 months. Writers are seeking higher compensation and protections around the use of artificial intelligence. Actors joined the picket lines 2 months ago, calling for increased pay, tightened regulations for AI use, and a restructuring of residual payments for streaming.
With the fall TV season underway, analysts say the strikes have already cost California's economy about $5 billion. The strike also means TV shows will look differently.
Strikes in Hollywood have no end in sight, and now studios are being forced to flip the script. Let's connect the dots. This year, the lineups on your favorite channels will look a little different. You'll see a lot more reality and game shows like The Voice or American Ninja Warrior. For context, on CBS last year, scripted shows made up about 75% of what aired on primetime. This fall, it's down to about 14%. There will be some new scripted shows. NBC is licensing shows that already aired overseas. If the networks have a successful season with all these changes, it could mean a lasting change in the kinds of shows we get to watch on TV. And that is connecting the dots.
You know, one thing I thought was pretty interesting too is that some of these places, or some of these networks, are now taking shows from other places outside the country, because this is only happening in the U.S., right? So we're seeing some shows that are produced in Europe, for example, that they're now showing on our air.
It's interesting that they were talking about the game show aspect of it as well too, because I've been watching some cable TV lately and have been seeing a lot of repetitive shows, and I'm like, oh, I just saw this kind of last week or so and so like that. But if you do like game shows, then I guess this would be something that's in your favor.
Well, you know, nothing beats The Price is Right for me. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I did grow up on that when we talked a little bit about Survivor too. That was another big one for us. But it's nice just to have a nice array, just kind of variety to choose from.
I'm wondering how long it will last.
I know,
too.
because I'm literally thinking of so many shows also too that are getting ready to have some new seasons as well too, and I'm wondering if that'll, you know, have an effect on those shows. So
Yeah, like streaming shows. I mean, think about all the shows that people rely on, is kind of a heavy term, but that they rely on for new seasons to come out, and now who knows how long it'll be before that happens.
exactly.
But what I do like is that I'm getting caught up on all the shows that I didn't have time to watch before. So
And
instead of
it builds
watching
suspense.
new seasons,
It
right?
builds suspense.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen any of these shows, exactly. You can start back from season 1. I know they mentioned Abbott Elementary, which is a very, very popular show. So, you know, you could just start from the beginning.
Maybe I should start that.
You should.
Yeah, why
Good
not?
show. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. I'm Chad. This is Claire. That's Sydney. We're happy that you're here. And if you're watching us on Facebook right now, you know that during commercial breaks, we tend to show some sort of live camera. And the one we were just showing was of the beach. And it looked beautiful.
You know, it's really nice along the coast. Right where I came from, of course. But you know what? I'd much rather be here. I love enjoying the inland zones.
That's the right attitude.
That's the spirit, right?
And I mean, so while it looked nice there today, it's going to be a much different story this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because thanks to that coastal low bringing in those scattered showers and storms, especially along the coast. I mean, wind gusts could be up to around 40 miles per hour. It's not going to be the weekend to be at the beach.
Yeah.
And if you are even here locally, Sunday, though, is going to be a little bit better. So some good news is in sight.
There's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Not going to give it all away now, but of course,
That's your tease.
That's the tease.
Yeah. We'll get a full forecast later. But happening right now, Guilford County Commission Chair Skip Alston is set to deliver his State of the County address. In a statement he wrote, the county is delivering on its promise to create one Guilford. This is a live picture of that, by the way. He says he plans to highlight ways they're working to recruit cutting-edge companies, creating high-paying jobs, investing in schools and the workforce, and also everyday lives. We will have a recap of his speech tonight on WFMY News 2 at 11.
The State Task Force for Safer Schools held a meeting today to talk about all things school safety. With September being Suicide Prevention Month, a special focus was put on mental health resources available in UNC system colleges.
So as we thought about the best way to have an impact, we considered where the touch points are for students, and they really are everywhere. So they're in the classrooms they learn in, they're in the residence halls they live in, they're in the dining rooms they eat in, they're in the offices they visit to take care of their registration, their bills, to get academic coaching, the gyms they work out in, they're everywhere. So we made it our mission to create opportunities for everyone in those spaces to get some level of training, to have meaningful conversations with students who may be anywhere on that mental health continuum.
The task force also discussed topics ranging from gun safety to gang involvement, as well as proposed budgets were on the agenda to increase security in schools.
NC State is reaching out to students offering mental health resources as it deals with a third sexual assault reported this semester. The most recent was on Monday near campus involving a female victim affiliated with the university. So far, no one's been arrested.
Unfortunately, experts say this time of the school year is when most sexual assaults and violent crimes happen. They call it the red zone. It starts at the beginning of the school year and ends around Thanksgiving.
Unfortunately, we do see a lot of victims that do come forward are usually freshman students who are just, experiencing that independence for the first time, trying to figure out their own boundaries, trying to figure out, what their likes or dislikes are. And unfortunately, they're preyed upon the most because they're seen as vulnerable.
So we always encourage our students to be very vigilant.
A red zone is like a red flag. North Carolina A&T says their campus has added more police patrol and enhanced security systems. A reminder for anyone, no matter who you are or how you are struggling, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number is 988. You can call or text any time of the day or night.
Burlington police say they're in contact with a woman accused of stealing hundreds of vials of medication from her workplace. They say Lindsay Story falsified medication distribution while working at Authoricare Hospice of Alamance, allowing her to steal 600 vials of an opioid. Police say the facility contacted them in August about missing drugs. Investigators say this type of crime is not common in Burlington.
It does not happen every day. I think that given the past few years, we've likely seen a little bit more of an increase in just substance abuse problems in general. So when someone does have access to that type of drugs, the temptation is there. But we do not run this type of crime every week, especially in Burlington.
Police say they are in contact with Story, but she hasn't been arrested yet.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Health officials are urging everyone to get an updated COVID booster ahead of the fall season. The CDC says anyone who's 6 months or older can get it. Experts say the severity of COVID has faded and many people have developed immunity, but they are still worried. They say a new shot could save thousands and prevent another health crisis. They're available at pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens right now. You may want to head to your refrigerator for this next food recall. Kraft is recalling around 83,000 cases of Kraft singles because of a choking hazard. The company says there was an issue with the wrapping machine and a piece of the film may stay on the cheese after it's unwrapped. To check if your cheese is recalled, check the best by date. If it says January 9th, 2024 through January 27th, you can return those for exchange or refund. September is National Preparedness Month, and Triad first responders are giving tips on how you can stay ready. We're in the middle of hurricane season, which means there could be a possible weather emergency. Greensboro Fire Department says before a storm comes, you need an evacuation plan. A stock pantry of food, water, and first aid kit, a fuel generator, money, and a trusted news source to bring you storm updates. A long-awaited debate is over after another person joined the Guilford County School Board. Michael Logan was sworn in as the school board member for District 3 just last night. This comes after Bill Goebel's recent resignation following his months-long battle to keep his place. Goebel says he just wants to move forward and hopefully run again in the next election.
Back-to-back gorgeous days across the Triad, and that's all thanks to high pressure lingering over the area, offering us plenty of sunshine. A couple of clouds and temperatures right now sitting in the upper 70s and lower 80s across the area. 78 in Greensboro, 80 in Reedsville and in Winston-Salem. Dew points also not too uncomfortable, sitting in the lower and middle 50s across the area. Pretty nice and dry, as you can tell here from our Greensboro sky cam. Couple of clouds, but for the most part nice and sunny out there. Even a little bit buggy, as you can see some of those bugs flying around the camera. Next 12 hours we're going to begin to fall down into the more comfortable windows down weather. I would say 60s and eventually into the 50s. Now as we head into tomorrow, we are right back into the middle and upper 70s thanks to lots and lots of sunshine. Don't have to worry about rain chances at least too much throughout the day on Thursday. Going to be nice and dry with high pressure, of course, being the main driver in the forecast throughout the day on Thursday, but not for much longer. We're watching that coastal low develop right along Florida as of right now, going to get again pushed to the north, bringing us scattered shower and thunderstorm chances Friday night and especially into the day on Saturday. Winds could even be 20 to 30 miles per hour here locally. And this is the culprit for that. A look at the tropical satellite as of right now. Pretty disorganized, but could see some development here in the next several days with scattered shower and thunderstorm chances on the way here in the next couple of days. I'll have the latest details here in just a couple minutes.
Many Truist Bank members can't use their credit cards right now. The Charlotte-based bank sent new cards to customers this week, but some people say they can't activate them. On top of that, their current cards are getting declined.
When would that show up?
Calls and calls to customer service, but still only limited answers from Truist.
We're in limbo right now. We can't use our current card. We can't use our new card.
It's been a frustrating few days for Shannon Farmer. Her family exclusively banks with Truist, which issued new credit cards to its customers, but they don't work.
September 18th rolled around, couldn't activate it. September 19th rolled around, could not activate it.
Truist tells WCNC Charlotte, quote, "To ensure the best client experience, we're encouraging those clients to continue using their existing credit cards for now. Once the new cards are fully functional and ready for use, we'll provide updates when activation is available." But Farmer says her original cards aren't working either.
It was embarrassing when I went to the grocery store and my card was declined.
Customer complaints have been flying into Facebook about the same issues. Truist is telling customers they hope to fix the issues soon, but they don't have an exact time.
They said it should just affect credit cards, but we should be able to use our debit card, but she wasn't confident in that.
Farmer hopes the problem is fixed before automatic bills kick in and that her debit card continues to work in the meantime. But she worries about others who don't have backups.
There may be people out there who have no other choice but to use their Truist credit card, and that may be their only card.
As Shannon Farmer says Truist offered her $50 for the trouble. The bank has not shared how many customers are affected or why some existing cards aren't working. We'll be right back.
Yo, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Good old North Carolina muscadine grapes. You can get them at Food Lion for $3.49 for a 20-ounce bag. And I love that it shows the breakdown here that it's about 17 cents an ounce, which is why what I'm about to show you is just going to go, it's going to blow your mind. Are you ready for it? Here it is. This is an Instagram post from Got to Be NC, the North Carolina Department of Agriculture. What you're looking at is a box of muscadine grapes from North Carolina, each one with its own special spot in the box to make sure it's safe and not smushed. And you can see the writing on the box is not all English. That's because this box of grapes is being sold in China for $55. That's right, almost $1.37 a grape.
Are they? They're packaged so nicely.
Aren't they nice?
Like
it's very
eggs.
bougie.
Is there gold in the center?
Super bougie.
Right.
Well, can you believe the price of our home state grapes?
I wonder if people are buying them.
In China, they are.
Wow.
Right, because there's not a muscadine grape in China.
Imagine if ours were packaged like that.
Ours are not packaged like that. Ours are just like in a
Just
bag
in that
that
bag,
you get,
just,
right?
you know,
And aren't you glad? Because you don't want to pay $55 for grapes, do you?
I know, but the packaging, you know, sometimes
It is
it's all
pretty.
about it. It is
You're
nice.
right.
Yeah.
Now, the next question is, how in the world do North Carolina muscadine grapes get to China, right? So let me show you the video. This is from a food show called Fruit Logistica. It is really considered the largest food show on the planet, and the North Carolina Department of Agriculture sends folks there every single year.
From the Department of Agriculture standpoint, we don't have the products to sell, but what we try to do is facilitate those business-to-business interactions on the front end by making the connections. And then once they strike a deal, we have specialists within our department that can help with the export requirements.
I mean, the regular everyday farmer does not know how to get his muscadine grapes right to China.
Right. Yeah.
So the agriculture department, I mean, they say that this is a $100 billion industry, our North Carolina agriculture as a whole. And part of the reason why is because they're actively looking for products made here and then trying to get them to go worldwide.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going
Okay.
to quit my job. I'm going to move to China. I'm going to grow muscadine grapes and I'm going to sell them at half price and make a ton of money.
You could do that. you could do that.
Yeah.
I
you
honestly
really could.
don't know the last. I used to love grapes. Used to love them so much. I don't even remember the last time I bought some grapes myself.
Oh, I did like earlier this week. So expensive.
I buy them once a week.
Yeah.
You're a grape eater.
I freeze them sometimes. I eat them
freeze them.
refrigerated.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like
I
a,
know
it's like
someone
a
who
treat.
freezes grapes
Okay.
as well too.
I like
don't know
them.
about that, though.
But raisins, no go.
It's
Really?
which is the
Yeah.
same fruit, just in a different form, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to continue the raisins versus grapes thing. In the meantime, I want to give you an idea of what kinds of products are getting international attention. So check this out as we go to break.
You have sweet potatoes and peanuts. We mentioned that cotton, Texas peat is a North Carolina ag product that is all over the globe, literally. We've had a gelato maker export their gelato out of Carteret County to some of the Nordic countries. It really is a global market that we're in, and we're trying to help North Carolina farmers and North Carolina businesses participate in that global market.
The North Carolina beaches are one of our state's most prized possessions, but as sea level rise, the places we love, they're starting to change.
That's right. KJ Jacobs explains how the combination of rising tides and flooding are dramatically changing our coastline.
Twice per day at the coast, we have a high tide and a low tide, but the high tides are outweighing the low tides due to an uptick in coastal flooding. Coastal Carolina communities are experiencing a weather phenomenon called high tide flooding. This occurs on sunny days without a storm in sight because of sea level rise.
High tide flooding, which would cause problem in the streets, disappearing shoreline during these extra high tides, those were quite rare just 20 years ago.
NOAA's oceanographer Dr. William Sweet says high tide flooding days are increasing.
And just last year, there were 6 of those days recorded. Next year, somewhere between 5 and 8 of those days are expected.
Sweet says with another foot of sea level rise driven by climate change, high tide flooding days could reach 100 days annually by the year 2050.
Emissions really matter. Higher emissions equals more heating, more thermal expansion of the ocean, more melting of mountain glaciers in Antarctica and Greenland, higher seas, more flooding.
Since our coastline is home to both commerce and tourism, a rising sea environment could change the landscape, resulting in billions of dollars of lost home value.
With that comes a loss of beach. Typically, in a natural environment, the beach would move inland, things would sort of readjust, the sand, the dunes, but we have stuff there. We've built cities, houses, things along the coast that's just going to interfere with the inland encroachment, let's say, of the sea.
Sweet says the first step is to plan and prepare to help protect our coastal communities most vulnerable to high tide floods. Typically, the Carolina coast sees the most flooding during the fall due to an extra foot of sea level rise that occurs naturally. It normally goes back down in the winter. However, Sweet says the trend could continue for other seasons in the future.
So I don't know if you remember, I did a story on this last year and how rising sea level is impacting our beaches. One thing that was fascinating to me was that it's so expensive to do this project called beach renourishment.
Oh yeah.
So it costs $10 million to basically bring 1 mile of beach back. So they dredge up sand from the ocean, rebuild the beach, and they have to do it every 5 years. But I mean, so, one place it costs $20 million to do 2 miles. Well, where is all this money coming from? So they're raising taxes on people who live at the beach, especially those right on the oceanfront, because it's so expensive.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to continue to be a problem too. Especially with, as he was talking about the thermal expansion of waters and stuff, and how this could be a problem in future seasons as well. I mean, more so than just as it normally dies down in the winter. So definitely something to have to watch here in the next couple of years.
Being prepared is probably definitely top of mind for folks that live right there on that coastline as well, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't take much to hydroplane. It really doesn't. So got to be careful on the coast.
And some of those, do you remember those videos of the houses in Rodanthe collapsing at the Outer Banks? There have been like 3 in the last year or 2, because the water level is getting so high that it's coming up to the homes and they're just collapsing.
It's terrifying.
It's crazy.
Yep.
All right, we got to talk about the weather now.
Yeah, let's do it. Our next best set of rain chances is all coming with this coastal low that is going to begin to form as we head into these next several days. This is just one of the models. This is our GFS model beginning to show some development into Thursday and Friday, watching as the majority of that moisture moves up right along the Carolina coast. Again, this is just one model. We look at several models, of course, when we're making our forecast. This one, though, is showing a little bit more of that wetness coming inland, which means could even see some wind gusts according to this model as well before we start to see that system push away from the area. But main points that you are going to want to know as the system approaches the coast: going to be a windy, rainy weekend, especially along the beach for Friday night and into Saturday. Although Sunday is going to be a little bit better. How far inland the range stretches still unknown, with a little bit of discrepancy between these models. Again, we're on the edge of this system, so portions of our area, especially to the west, are going to be drier than those counties that are in the east. And as of right now, this system has a 40% chance of development, and it could acquire some subtropical elements. Very disorganized as of right now, but very well could develop here in the next couple of days. Of course, we're also keeping an eye on Hurricane Nigel, which continues to hold sustained winds of around 90 miles per hour, continuing its northeastern track. As it continues to do so, going to begin to weaken into a tropical storm and then a low pressure system as we head into later this week. As for us here right now, pretty nice and dry across the Carolinas. Heading into tonight, mostly clear conditions. We're back in the middle and upper 50s. Pretty nice tomorrow. Mostly sunny, nice day. We're back in the upper 70s. Full 7-day forecast also includes the beginning of fall. Going to see lots of rainfall into Friday night and into your Saturday. Breezy conditions as well, but beginning to see those lighten up into Sunday with lots and lots of sunshine, mainly dry conditions. Back in the 70s for the new work week.
Hello, this is a mic check for you.
Hi, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana.
Clock is ticking. Congress has only 6 legislative days left to fund the government. Hey there, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have sound. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Oh.
This month, I met an 83-year-old Greensboro woman who is the definition of amazing. Her name is Millie Hoffler-Fouché, and she works out 5 days a week. She takes Zumba classes, water aerobics, and works out on the treadmill frequently. The reason why she stays active even at her age is to keep a healthy lifestyle. I met her at Cone Health Sagewell Health and Fitness Gym. She was so eager to show me her gym routine to help tell my health and fitness news story. Mondays and Thursdays, she takes water aerobics classes. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, she participates in floor classes. And Fridays, she takes even more water classes. Pretty neat, right? Well, this got me thinking, in what ways are you making sure you stay healthy? Maybe it's working out like Hoffler-Fouché, eating a healthy diet, or even making sure you get a good amount of rest daily. Whatever it is, come up with a good routine so you can show up every day as the best person you can be. Hoffler-Fouché also mentioned that sometimes she can be hard on herself, which can happen when you're trying to reach your goals, but always remember to be kind to you. After all, you're only human. That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
A frightening moment caught on camera. A woman hit by a stolen car while jogging near her home in Archdale.
Police say the attack was intentional and the hit-and-run driver still has not been caught. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake spoke with the victim who says she is so scared she's afraid to go outside.
Julie, Chad, the attack happened earlier this week in Archdale. The woman who was jogging suffered broken ribs and a concussion. But the worst part of it